It's time for another mail day with BeardedTinker. Let's look at what packages the postman brought me this time. We'll start in a couple of seconds. Let's check this package. So, first of all, let's look at this one. It's so nice. Oh, I really like it. Maybe this will be my favorite button in the future. So this is a Shelly button. I have to check what it has. It has a charging port here. You can put a strap here, I guess. I think that this is used for something, but I will have to check what for. Let's look at the manual. Okay, button, USB. Blah, 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 blah. Well, I'll be checking out this a little bit later, and you will definitely see a video about this. And while I really love getting this button, let me put it back in the box. This, let's call it like that, ugly thing is something that I'm looking forward to. Caution, high intensity ultraviolet light. Avoid eye and skin exposure. And this is the board that has 3 UV lights on it. And I will be making a DIY ultraviolet disinfection / disinsection board with it. It can be powered via the USB ports. USB port here. And it also has ability to connect it to something, to, for example, a Shelly ones or something like that, to control it. So you can have it powered all the time and then use some kind of external device to start it and stop it. So you can have, for example, a safety switch until the lid is not closed, it doesn't turn on and things like that. As I said, I will be adding this to Home Assistant. I will probably make some kind of automation for, a box where you put your mobile phone or your masks for the pandemic, and then use this to kill the bacteria and kill the viruses on it. Because the ultraviolet lights work in such a way that they split the RNA or DNA or RNA links between the inside the viruses, so they kill the virus that way. This video has been in the draw for very long time, and since then I did release video on how to integrate this Shelly button 1 with Home Assistant, but I've never released this video, and the reason was that UVC board that you see there. I really had a couple of great ideas, but it was not that easy to implement it inside the box how I wanted because of the double power supply that would be needed. For example, one thing would need to power the relay and the other power source would be used to power the LED strip. So that's why I didn't release that video. But back to this button. You can buy either white version or the black version. I have only one white version, and the button is really good. I'm not using it that much myself. It is still working. It is completely integrated inside Home Assistant. Power usage while the device is off doesn't exist. So if it goes to deep sleep, it really goes to deep sleep. There are some issues with connectivity that were patched in the latest or version before this one of the firmware, where when you wake up the device, it wouldn't connect on the first try, then you would have to press the button once again for it to connect to the Wi-Fi network, but this has been since fixed. I still have those 2 lights connected here to this button, same as when I recorded the video for Home Assistant. So as I said, 1990 euros without VAT. With VAT it's 24 euros for a single bottle, which is a pretty steep price, but this is not a Chinese knockoff of something. This is European product certified. For example, I think the plastic is certified. so it doesn't catch fire, it doesn't release toxic fumes, so whatever the normal device should get certification. The second thing is that this device has embedded lithium-ion batteries, so you can just recharge it. As I said, I only got one. If you buy more, you should have a bit lower price, but the difference is not that. I think that Shelly is ready to release Shelly Button 2, but that's just my opinion, and I have so far no real information about that. Shelly, if you do have any information about it, send it my way. But yeah, this is the video that was never released. So my idea was at the beginning of pandemic, so as you can see, the video is really old, to have this board in some kind of a wooden box, because wood and UVC wouldn't interact that much. And I would create something that would be then again hooked up to Home Assistant. Then from Home Assistant I can see if the box is closed or not, trigger a cycle for the UVC light to turn on to kill bacteria and microbes. Yeah, but I never ended up doing that. One day I just decided to go with the flow and see what Shelly has made for this, and Shelly has created a couple of STL files that you can print yourself, where you can create something like this. Yeah, this one is missing the button, and instead of button that you have to either push or keep pressed for the lights to work, I just connected it with a jumper wire. So whenever I plug this in, it automatically starts to work, which is not the best case. But then again, when my kid a couple of months ago got COVID, and later on when my wife and I got COVID a couple of days ago or a week ago, I used this to disinfect the kitchen, the bathroom, all the doorknobs, door locks, anything that would you normally touch during the day. So who knows, my second kid didn't catch COVID still, maybe it really works, but it really should work. I think that somewhere here on the website of Shell you can find a document with a table that contains how long you should expose to UVC light a bacteria, a fungi, or microbe for it to get killed, destroyed, or neutralized. So yeah, if you need something to disinfect your working areas, and just be careful, not all materials like UVC light, some types of plastics, etc. can get ruined. You know, those plastic garden chairs, when exposed to the sun for too long, they turn yellow. So same thing can happen with this. But on the other hand, if you are looking for a magic wand that you can use to disinfect and disinfect your apartment, kill bacteria, viruses, and fungi. Yes, it can also kill fungi. I like the word. Yeah, it's a good catch. The price is the same as the button, so it's 24 euros or 23 euros 88 cents with the VAT, or 19 euros and 90 cents without VAT. Let's look at this one. New generation RTL 2832. Software-defined radio, USB connector, and plug for the antenna. Let's open the antenna. So this is the software-defined radio with the external antenna, and I've seen a project where this can be used to track the aircraft that are passing by, so it is pulling the data from the frequency of the transponders or whatever, and then uses this to track what aircraft is flying above your head. There are a lot of things for this, for what software-defined radio can be used. I can't remember by heart what are the frequencies that are covered by this new gen RTL 2832, R828D, and SDR. But I think I will first try to play with this, as I mentioned, for tracking aircrafts, and then later on see for what else I can use this. If everything goes according to plan, my next Home Assistant video will be in regard to this item. If not, let's pretend that I didn't even buy this item. So what this is this software-defined radio, and the best way to explain it is that radio stations have frequencies, and if you remember old radios, you had knob where you tune the frequency. This one is using software for that, so if you plug it into a computer, you can use this device to intercept various radio signals. And of course, depending on what frequency you match, you can use it for various items. It says here this is DAB FM, meaning that you can use it for digital radio, RTL 2832U, which I believe is the type of device. And it can be used for frequencies from 25 MHz up to 1760 MHz. My idea for this is something that I wanted to do for a very long time, but when I had that idea or when I wished to do that, I think that that time I still haven't been using Home Assistant. So this will be used to track aircrafts in the space above my apartment or town or country. And that's all you really need. You need this device, you do need to attach the antenna. It is preferred to have the antenna with line of sight to the sky, but I think that it will work even inside or from within the apartment. Next step is to install a software, and then you will be able to track in real time all the aircrafts or airplanes that are in the airspace above you. But what I also like about the project is community work. And if all goes well, I will be able to install a special add-on for Home Assistant that will then publish that information for me, but also share that information with the flight tracker, Flight 24, etc. So the sites that compile all those information and that allow you to track aircrafts flying from one airport to the other. Yeah, I know. The purpose is not something that most of you will probably like, but I love the idea. The second thing that you can use this device with antenna is to capture the traffic from your smart readers. Of course, depending on what type of smart readers you are using, you may be able to intercept data that those smart water, gas, electricity, etc. meters are sending back to the utility company, and you can use it as a meter reader. Unfortunately, in Croatia, we do not have such smart readers. The only smart readers we currently use in Croatia, as far as I know, for electricity are the ones that have embedded GSM card or electronic GSM card in them, so they send data via the GSM or mobile network. So while the frequency that this device can use matches the frequencies, some of the frequencies for the GSM network, I will not be using for that. We will see. Maybe at the end I will not be using this for anything. Let's check the next item. Let's open up this one. So this is the standard ADXL 345. I think I've already had a couple of them unpacked or unboxed or whatever here. Yeah, so I had to order a new one. I think I previously also ordered two and I managed to break, make them not work for two of them. So the problem is, well, the lessons learned with them are don't hook them up if the power is on. And the second lesson learned is don't unhook them if the power is on, because it looks like both of those actions can break them. These will be used for input shaper on the Warren printer. Hopefully these work. There is a problem with those cheap ADXL boards from China, as you also have a lot of dead on arrivals and you never know if this will be dead on arrival or not. I just ordered two. If those two will have issues, I will order some from Adafruit. They are a bit different. The pinout is the same. I think the size of the board is a bit different. But yeah, I need those for input shaper. I have everything hooked up to the printer. I'm using currently Raspberry Pi Pico for that. So the Raspberry Pi Pico is pretending to be, or it is a MCU for the printer, and you directly hook up this ADXL board to it. Let's check the web listing.
some more ADXL boards. And as I mentioned in the unboxing video, there are a couple of lessons that I learned with my previous batch of ADXL boards. I think these are board number 3 and 4 so far because I managed to burn or destroy 2 previous boards. One is by unhooking them while plugged in and the other one by hooking it while the device was plugged in. Yeah, and the lessons were learned, so this time when I was hooking this to my Voron printer via the Raspberry Pi Pico, I unhooked it from the power supply, hooked it up, programmed the clipper or enabled inside clipper ADXL input shaper, run my input shaper, and results were really perfect prints once again. The reason is that I changed from Afterburner on my Voron printer to Stealth Burner, which is of course still in beta, and yeah, Stealth Burner is just front face or a cooling part, but I also removed Clockwork 1 and replaced it with Clockwork 2 extruder, and those two impact input shaping on a printer. So anytime you exchange something on the print head, you have to do input shaping. And what input shaping does, it vibrates from I think 1 up to 133 hertz. And based on those vibrations in sensor, meaning the sensor is detecting those vibrations, it creates graphs such as the one you will see here on the screen. And then you can use magic, because I don't know what else this can be, to further improve the quality of the prints. Why? As the head is heavy and it moves on linear rails, for example, it has problem with acceleration and deacceleration. Because the head is heavy, yeah, it shakes, moves, vibrates. So by using the input shaper, you can compensate on those movements and the printer will print you more beautiful and better prints. This can also be used for some other sensors, as this is a gyro sensor. You can use it in various other projects to detect movement, if the device has been moved, picked up, rotated, etc. But as I said, I'm using this only for input shaping.
Let's look at this large box. Okay, so what do we have here? This is the last part needed for the weather station. So this is wind direction, and here is the jack for the anemometer for wind speed, and then this one goes into the weather station, and this is mounting bracket for both of them. So one goes on this side and the speed anemometer goes on this side, and yeah, this is it. Let's check the web listing.
And you thought that with the release of my solar weather station video and how to hook it up to Home Assistant via the ESP Home, everything is done. But no, unfortunately it took really long time, but finally this part of the weather station has arrived, and this is a wind direction sensor. It has inside, I think, 4 or 8 read sensors, and depending on the position, it changes the resistance inside the device itself, and then you can use this to track the position of the head. This really did arrive just a day ago on Friday, and this video will be released on Saturday, so I still haven't done everything to finish up with this, but I did hook it up to check if it's working, if I can get readings, and yes, so far everything is working. As I mentioned in the previous video when I was showing you anemometer or wind speed sensor, you hook that sensor, which has very short cable, here. And then you hook this cable to, in my case, that pre-assembled PCB that I ordered from PCBWay. And then you can use the platform ADC inside ESP Home, and I will be once again posting a link to my GitHub repository, but at the time when this video is released, I don't think that code will be out, so I will be updating it later on. And yeah, so that's the general idea how you can get the wind direction. The item cost is 17 euros and 5 cents with the shipping of 8 euros and 66 cents for Canal Express. And because it's Canal Express, it really took a long time for this item to arrive. Yeah, probably you can print something like that, but I didn't print. I ordered together with the wind direction sensor, also this one. So this is a mounting arm which is designed specifically for that wind direction and wind speed sensor. On one side you insert the wind speed sensor, you thread the cable from it to wind direction sensor, you hook the cable there, hook here the wind direction sensor, and then you put this on a pole. So that's the general idea. I so far did hook everything up and I did insert everything where it should be, but I didn't screw anything in, and I still do not have pole because I'm still reconsidering what will be the final position of this solar weather station. The cost of this arm is 4 euros, with 7 euros and 5 cents shipping cost to Croatia, with Kainao standard for special goods. Unfortunately, yeah, when using Kainao, it takes a bit longer for item to arrive. And that's it about this item. It really is just arms, but the devices themselves perfectly fit, and there are only 2 positions where you can insert them, so if you need arm, I would definitely recommend going with this one here.
Let's look what's in this box. This is a mounting bracket for the rain gauge. So yeah, if we look at this item here, this goes something like this. So you have rain gauge and wind direction on the same pole. I still haven't found the pole where I will be mounting this, but yes, this is how at the end it all will look like.
This arm is for the rain gauge. Unfortunately, since I didn't buy a rain gauge from this seller, I already had rain gauge from before. Unfortunately, that rain gauge doesn't fit here, so I will have to design something and print something that will hold the current rain gauge, and I will be able to insert it here. As you can see, this one has hole here for the pole, so the idea is on top you have wind, direction and speed, and under that you have the rain gauge. This is something similar like I will be having, and also under it I will also be mounting the solar weather station, so all cables will neatly go down the pole. Yeah, and that's it. The cost of the item is 4 euros with the 7 euros and 5 cents shipping cost to Croatia. This same seller has various other items, such as this one here, everything related to weather stations and of course weather stations. Both previous sensors, so wind speed and also wind direction, and mount or hand or whatever for both of them, were bought as spare parts. And that's it. And this is it for this mail day with BeardedTinker. I really do hope that you did enjoy this video and that you did find something useful. And if you did, don't forget to give me a like, because it not just means a lot to me, but it also helps with YouTube algorithms. I also would like to thank everybody who is supporting me on the YouTube channel and has become YouTube channel member. Thank you all for all of your support. And thanks to everybody who watched, liked or subscribed to my channel. If you too want to support the channel, you can do so by clicking the join button down below. If you have any kind of a comment or a question, you can always leave comment down in a comment section below, or even better, go to my Discord server and ask question or leave comment there. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss my next videos and streams, and if everything goes according to plan and the post office doesn't fail, next Saturday we will be having a stream, and on that stream we will be assembling this machine behind my back. And I'll be seeing you next time. Until then, bye bye and have fun.